Good morning, Magee. I'm pleased today to have with me Congressman Greg Harper of the 3rd District of Mississippi. He is on the campaign trail, getting ready for us to vote on Tuesday here in Simpson County and in this area in Mississippi. And I had some questions I wanted to ask him. When I found out he was running up that road out there to visit, I said, oh, get him to come by here because there are just some serious things I want to ask him to. And we do welcome you to Magee. Will you send to Magee? Of course, you come all the time to see us.
We do.
Hear from your face.
Quite often,
yes.
And I'm glad to be back and see some familiar faces and some old friends, and that's been great. And
yeah.
Of course, there is an election, big election. Mississippi's getting lots of attention right now with the presidential primary, and all of the 3 main candidates being in Mississippi creates some excitement. The biggest thing is people are finally realizing that Tuesday, the 13th, is spring break week. So we're having to remind people, make sure you don't leave town without voting absentee.
That's right.
Have a trip plan.
I had put it on the website the other day, you know, don't forget about absentee voting because it will affect a lot of people around here because we are known to hit the road.
Well, you know, you've got to go back to 1976, the Reagan-Ford race, since Mississippi's gotten attention on a national level on presidential primaries. So it's a lot of fun. So Mississippi will get good news coverage for the next few days, and look forward to that exciting story.
I saw them on there this morning. Early. They had them down there. They did. But I do want to ask you, we're just going to move right into some questions.
Sure.
And I think everybody in Magee's and in Simpson County would be concerning gas prices because even in Little Magee, which we don't have the highest gas in the United States, but it affects our industry because we are the agriculture base too, you know, and it makes such a difference with that. But I've heard so many different things that what a president or a Congress can actually do about the gas price. What can you do?
Well, I would begin with this. The high gas price that we have right now at the pump, President Obama owns this.
I agree.
There is, he can spin it any way he wants, but you've got to remember when President Obama came in January of '09, the average price for a gallon of gas was $1.83. Now,
my goodness,
I can't remember gas under $2 a gallon right this minute, but it was $1.83 national average then, and now, depending what part of the country you're in, but the average I'm sure is probably in the $3.65 to $3.70 average price around the country for that gas. And you look at so many factors. And the president has said, well, it's really nothing we can do about these high gas prices. Well, you can't say that. That's because, for one thing, it's not true. His policies, or the lack of policies, have been what's been driving these prices up. And you go back to the Deepwater Horizon explosion that took place in April of 2010. And you and I, if there was a problem and BP had messed up, you would have shut them down.
Right.
You wouldn't have shut down the entire Gulf of Mexico, which is what he did. And so that cost tens of thousands of direct jobs in the Gulf Coast area, and many of our people from here.
Sure, we have a ton of people
work offshore.
And
that really impacted them. And then, you know, it was 6 months before they removed the moratorium, but you couldn't get a permit. And during this time, you have a crisis beginning in Egypt. Well, Egypt's not an exporter of crude, but they control the Suez Canal. So prices continue to go up. And then we get to the crisis in Libya. Libya is a major exporter of sweet crude. So it's a year later, after the Deepwater Horizon explosion, before the first permit gets issued. Now, you can't say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. And you factor that in with other regulatory burdens that are there through the Environmental Protection Agency that make it more difficult to recover oil and gas in the country. And then most recently, and I've got to say, the Keystone XL pipeline, which the president has denied, is one of the most inexcusable actions that I've seen by this administration. To take oil from the oil sands in Canada down to the Texas Gulf Coast, for him to deny this would have created 20,000 jobs immediately, and they say it would have created up to 100,000 spin-off jobs over the lifetime of the pipeline. And for that to get denied, when there's no difference, the same administration, same Secretary of State same president, had approved a similar pipeline that went from Canada into Wisconsin. Nothing's different about this, except for one thing. This is an election year, and this president is controlled by the pocketbook environmentalists. And this is something that is just out of control. And I'm not sure, even though he's come back through his press secretary and said, well, he really didn't deny it. And then they said, well, we're going to do a portion of it that's in the States. But it is inexcusable to say that. Yes, what's happening in Iran is having an impact on global markets. But Keystone XL pipeline, even if some of the finished petroleum products were to be exported from the Texas Gulf Coast to other countries, still improves our export picture, still takes care of those things. But what happened when he denied it? Here's what happened. The Prime Minister of Canada goes to China to visit with the Chinese leaders, and they're already announcing that they'll do a northern pipeline that'll go to the western coast of Canada and bypass the United States and ship the product to Asia. So what are they thinking?
I mean, it's like a no-brainer. It's almost no-brainer.
It's just crazy.
And I understand the environmentalists, but when I was reading and studying about it a little bit, I got the idea there's really on one section that they're big on, and we could have rerouted. I mean, it's not like it's the whole United States.
They said it was Nebraska, that there's a place in Nebraska they're worried about groundwater contamination and aquifer there, and we'll reroute it. But they still don't want to do it. And the other thing was the president, I have to deny it because they didn't give me enough time. Well, it's already taken double the amount of time for a permit. So this is pure politics beholding to those extreme pocketbook environmentalists. We're all conservationists. We all want clean air, clean water. But this is an administration who last week, actually Congressman Alan Nunley from Mississippi was in an appropriations subcommittee hearing, and he got to question Secretary Chu in charge of the Energy Department. And Secretary Chu was asked, is it the goal of the administration to have lower prices at the gas pump? He told the truth. I give him that. He told the truth. He said, no, it's the goal of the administration to reduce our dependence upon oil. Now, he didn't say on Middle Eastern oil. Their philosophy is that oil and gas is evil. Well, it is the engine upon, it is the...
It doesn't matter whether it's evil or not, I'm sorry.
Our country relies on it. When you look at what we do in Mississippi, look, it's nothing for us to drive 100 miles a day in Mississippi to go to work or where we have to go. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and it relies upon us. And we need bigger vehicles because we have to, we have needs for that. Whether it's agriculture or other business needs, that we need a bigger vehicle. It might not get the best gas mileage. We've always relied upon gas being economical.
Right.
And you know what happened June of '08 when we hit $4 a gallon. It hurt every business, every city that had a fleet. It didn't matter. It impacted every operation in this state, and it took us a while to get over it. And now we're going back to it, and maybe even worse, according to some that do those type of predictions. So we can do a whole lot better than this. But I'll say again, the president owns the gas prices at the pump.
I know you're going to enjoy everything that we're going to be talking about, and I hope you'll come back and when we do a few more programs on it and listen, because these are some good things that I'm sure many of you are quite interested in and maybe don't know quite as much about. I hope you'll have a good day.